My husband's brother just blurted out in front of the whole family the secret my husband had been keeping from me for half a year. 6 months ago, I was diagnosed with severe ADHD at 31, after a lifetime of being called lazy and scattered. I cried in the doctor's office, not from sadness but relief, like someone had finally explained why my brain had been fighting me my entire life. But here's what nobody tells you. Once you have the name for it, you can't unsee it. Every missed deadline, every forgotten birthday, every time I'd started 10 projects and finished none, it all suddenly had a reason, and somehow that made the weight heavier, not lighter. I'd find myself paralyzed in front of a sink full of dishes, unable to start. I'd lose entire afternoons hyper-focused on something pointless while the important thing rotted. The awareness was healing me and drowning me at the same time. One night, after a particularly brutal day where I'd cried over a pile of unopened mail, I held my husband's hand and said the thing I most needed him to hear. Please don't start managing me. Don't turn me into a chore on your list. I can't be one more thing you have to handle. He looked me in the eyes and promised he wouldn't. Then, as I'd find out, he spent the next 6 months quietly breaking that promise. It started with the keys. I lose my keys constantly. It's a whole ADHD thing. Object permanence, out of sight, out of existence. One day, a little hook appeared by the door, perfectly positioned, with a tiny dish underneath. I assumed I'd bought it in some forgotten Amazon spree. Then the pill organizer showed up, pre-filled. Then the kitchen reorganized itself so the things I use daily were at eye level, and the clutter that overwhelmed me vanished into labeled bins inside cabinets. I noticed, but I didn't connect it. My husband is handy. He likes projects. That's what I told myself. Then it got subtler, and that's what unsettled me. He started texting me reminders that didn't sound like reminders. Hey, no pressure, but the dentist thing is tomorrow at 2 if you still want it. He'd quietly break my overwhelming tasks into pieces. Instead of, did you do the taxes? It became, want to just find the W-2 tonight, that's all, nothing else. He started narrating transitions before they happened. In about 10 minutes, we'll head out, no rush, because he'd somehow learned that abrupt changes spun me out. It was working. That was the maddening part. I was functioning better than I had in years, but I started feeling watched, studied, like there was a system running underneath our marriage that I couldn't see, and I'd asked him point blank not to do exactly that. When I asked if something had changed, he'd deflect, mention a podcast, change the subject. I started pulling back, convinced he was hiding something. The not knowing was worse than any accommodation. Last Sunday, his whole family came over for dinner. I was at the stove getting overstimulated. Too many voices, too much noise, and I felt the familiar fog rolling in. My husband appeared beside me, not asking what I needed, just quietly turning down the radio, handing me a glass of water and saying, I've got the stirring, go sit if you want. I felt my shoulders come down from my ears. Then his brother, 2 beers in, pointed his fork at us and laughed. There it is, he does that thing again. I turned. What thing? His brother grinned. Dude's got a whole operation. He's got a spreadsheet, sis, color-coded, what helps, what doesn't. He's been testing stuff on you for months. Texts me about it. The water trick, the 10-minute warnings, the bins. He calls it your operating manual. The kitchen went quiet. My husband froze with the spoon in his hand. I felt the floor tilt, the betrayal of it. The exact thing I'd begged him never to do. A spreadsheet, like I was a malfunctioning appliance. You've been running tests on me? My voice cracked on tests. He set the spoon down slowly. I know what you asked me, but I couldn't watch you suffer and do nothing, so I researched. And every time something helped, I kept it. Every time it stressed you, I deleted it. The spreadsheet wasn't to fix you. It was so I'd remember what made your life easier and never make you explain it twice. He swallowed. I didn't want you to feel like a problem. I just couldn't stand feeling useless while you hurt. His brother, sensing the room, muttered, I really thought she knew. I stared at him a long moment. Then I asked quiet, what's at the top of the spreadsheet? He went red. It just says, she is not broken. She is the love of my life. These are just the cheat codes. I started crying. The good kind this time. I pulled him into a hug so tight he laughed into my hair. His whole horrified family slowly exhaling around us. I still tease him about the spreadsheet. He still updates it. I asked to see it once. Row 1 hasn't changed.